Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and guys, today I'm super excited. I'm not going to waste a ton of time up front because we have a long video in store. Get a snack, get a Diet Coke with light ice, and live your best life. Because today we are diving into Revolution Pro. It is one of the largest new launches that has happened at Ulta. To my understanding, Revolution Pro is meant to be a pro line that's a subset of Makeup Revolution. I am actually on their website right now, which is Revolution Beauty, and they have multiple beauty brands. They have obviously Revolution Makeup London, which we know of. They have I Heart Revolution, Revolution Skincare, Revolution Pro, and also Makeup Obsessions. Now, Makeup Obsessions is their newest line to Target, which I did do a full review on. I will link it up here. For me, that line was overall kind of disappointing. There was a couple things that I thought were really nice and a couple things that I was like not a fan of, so you can check that out if you're curious. So for this collection, to my understanding, everything is meant to be a pro version of Makeup Revolution. They wanted to give us something that was a high-end equivalent but at a nice affordable price point. Now, I do believe that all of this and possibly some more things are available on the Revolution Beauty website, but everything I am talking about today in this video I purchased from Ulta, so keep that in mind if you go looking for these products. That is where I purchased them from. But I don't want to waste any time. I'm going to go ahead and throw this hair back and we're going to get started. All right, so starting off with primer first, somehow I ended up with 3 of them. I haven't quite worked out the logistics of one face 3 primers, but we're going to get there. Now, for price-wise, we have this one is $15. We also have their Hydra Matte Primer Serum, and this is $15. And we also have their Goddess Glow Primer, and this is $15. So let's go ahead and start tearing these bad boys apart. Hello, take your thumb holes out, Paige. Get ready, my God. All right, they're all $15. Are they all amazing? Let's find out. Guys, this packaging though. She's glass. Okay, this is the Goddess Glow Primer, highlighting primer that gives the skin a luminous glow. And hello, not only is it in a glass bottle, it has a pump. Okay, so there she is on the hand. Let's kind of give it a little bit of a swatcher. Ooh, not bad. Very pretty. Nice light bronze luminescence. We're gonna let that one kind of sit there for a second. I love this packaging. That feels so nice. All right, and then the Hydra Matte Primer comes in the same type of packaging, also with a pump. Love this. So it starts off kind of like glue, but then rubs in to be basically clear. What the hell is that smell? Okay, this one has got some kind of a chemical situation going on in there. It seems like the kind that kind of dissipates after you get it on the skin. But woof, I don't know how I feel about that. The glowy one didn't really have much of a smell, but the Hydra one does, the Hydra Matte. I'm going to let those kind of sit there for a second. I want to see if the Hydra Matte one really soaks in, and I really want to swatch this giant ass blur stick. And guys, hey, cruelty-free and vegan. It says it on the back. Hot damn. Cruelty-free and vegan. I think that all these things might be cruelty-free and vegan. All 3 of the primers are. That's fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and take the lid off here, and then this is our blur stick. Is this a big blur stick or is it just me? Is that a big blur stick or are you just happy to see me? Paige, stop. This feels like a big old deodorant, like a big massive deodorant, but I'm not gonna lie, that actually, like, it's nothing you guys can really see on camera, but the way that it blurs the hand, it's really, really like a natural blurring effect. And I actually really like it because I can't feel it at all. Like, it is the slightest texture that you can possibly imagine. It feels like nothing. That is amazing. I think I'm gonna start off with the blur stick, and I'm like, look at this on my face. Can you see the size? This is so awesome. Okay, I'm just gonna start by like running this on my cheek right here, just because I want to see, like, does it really blur? And then I'm just gonna press it in lightly. I'm getting a little bit of blurring, but nothing crazy. I think the real test with this one will be how it looks under foundation. So we're gonna let that one sink, and I'm gonna see obviously how it looks with foundation. For the glowy and the matte ones, I think I'm gonna take the matte primer, which did pretty much completely settle in on my hand. Now for the other primers, I think what I'm going to do is take the matte one. I'm going to take just a little bit right there, and I'm going to mainly keep that, I think, to the T-zone. I think that'll be a good way to do this. I'm going to rub that in. We're going to go nose, center of the forehead, chin, because that's where I get the oiliest. And then over the cheek regions and like outer perimeter, we'll go in with the glowy one and see if we can get a little bit of that glow going. So I'm just going to take a little bit here. So everything is rubbed in, and I think that'll be a really good way to test control variables, because we have just the matte one where we would want to be matte. We have the glowy one on both sides, but we also have the pore one versus no pore. Now all of these did just like sink and settle into the skin pretty quickly. I don't feel much of a tack or cast. It leaves me very nice, like powdery soft, which I'm not mad at. As far as a finish on the skin, I don't really see one. I see a slight glow over the cheek. It's not too overbearing, which I'm glad for. And I am seeing a little bit of that pore blurring right through here. Looks nice though. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going. Now for the rest of the face products, there weren't any that were released to the Ulta website, but I did check on their website and I see some on there. There's a concealer and a foundation. So I will be going on getting those, and I'll be bringing those to you here probably in the next week or so. So we will test those out, but for right now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on some foundation, concealer, and then we're gonna be back for some powder. All right, so those are both on, and my skin is looking so ready for some powder. I use the Catrice HD Liquid Full Coverage in 010, and then I use the Tarte Shape Tape in Porcelain Beige to shape everything out. And to set the face, I have both of these, again from Revolution Pro. We have the Translucent Setting Powder. It says this is an ultra-fine mattifying powder with hyaluronic acid. And again, in the shade Translucent, this is $12. And the new Neutral Translucent Pressed Powder with a matte satin finish, and this is $10. Oh my gosh, you guys, the little cheetah print packaging on this is adorable. This is the pressed translucent powder here. Open it up, it actually comes with a little mirror and a white freaking powder. Oh, that is white. White. Why do we keep doing this? Oh my God, we're gonna have to do a flash test. All right, so I have a big old swatch of it. She's really rich in pigment. All right, I'm not mad at that. I wish it was a colored powder, but I digress. Now this one is $2 more, so it is 12 bucks. It has a cute little container, but as you can tell, it is a straight up like cocaine white powder. That's probably gonna be Flashback City, sweetheart. Now something I do enjoy is it actually has that little net in there, so that's kind of nice. So I'm just gonna try and grab a little bit of this here on my finger. This is almost completely like see-through translucent. Like you can barely see that one right there. It really settles in. It's a really, really like fine, I would almost say micro silica powder, that type of a feel versus the pressed powder. Now I'm gonna grab my camera real quick here and do a little flash test, because your girl's not about ready to believe for 1 second that these aren't about to flash back on my face. Center it and photo. I'm sorry, can you say flashback? What in the actual, who, why? Like, am I the only person here that does not understand why that seems like a good decision to brands to give you so much flashback? And it's not even an issue of like, oh, it's a white powder. In real life, this one right here, the one with the net, the loose powder, it is so fine that it literally sinks into my skin in real life. I can barely see it. And on here, it looks like white chalk. Oh my word, I'm not happy about this. Now to be fair, flashback is something that unless you do take photography, you probably wouldn't care about. Somebody like me, I do take a lot of photos. I take selfies every day, all day, anytime I film. So to me, it does matter. I don't like to have that white cast. But again, if that's something that doesn't apply to you, you don't have to care about it, then that's fine. It's just something that, again, it's one more angle to look at whenever it comes to a translucent powder. But what I think I want to try and do is play around lightly with this pressed powder. Now I know that that's not what this brush is for. It's not to do this, but it actually works pretty well to get right up under my under eye, and I can't really get under there with any other brush, and all the brushes that I would use for it I have lost. So this is the Wet n Wild, I don't know, square brush, I don't know, flat little contour brush, I don't know. It's a Wet n Wild brush, y'all. It's good, it's affordable. I got it in a set. It's great. We're gonna pack some of this right in here. I don't think that it's a bad product. I just don't think that that cast is very friendly, and I'm super fair and it doesn't look good on me, so I can't imagine on like medium to deep skin tones that that would look good to set your whole face with. I feel like it would give you a really harsh white cast, especially as you get more into the deeper skin tones. And I don't know, for me, I just don't understand, like why are we still making these powders? Why are they not at least tinted with like an actual skin tone? I don't know. I'm gonna go in here with my Pixi. This is their color correcting powder foundation. This is in shade 1 Cream. And I'm going to just lightly kind of dust this all over the face, just to lightly set the whole thing. And I did just do, for those of you that are new here, a full face of Pixi, which I will link right up here. I talked about their new products. Actually, the palette I've been using as a mirror, the new one from Rach Loves, her highlight palette was in there. They did a collab with Heart Defensor as well. That was in there. And it was just such a fun video. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. So if you're wondering, go take a look at that after this video is done. To go in and start bronzing up the face, I grabbed this. This is a Sculpt and Glow Contour and Highlight Palette, and she looks like this. It is $12 according to the website. Now this does come in 3 colors. I have the lightest one, which is Desert Sky. Just from like my first impression, the packaging on this, even though it's plastic, it does look really nice. The print of these is really pretty. It has like this wavy design to it, which is really, really pretty. And ooh, swatching them, they feel very nice. Let's go ahead here and do a little swatch. We have a pretty pinkish highlight and then a really nice, I would say, light matte brown bronzer, which is actually really nice. I was concerned with that bronzer there for a second. It looked a little bit cooler in the pan, but I think on the face it'll look okay. So I'm gonna go in first here. This is my IT Cosmetics Blurring Powder Brush. It's just a nice loose duo fiber, and I'm going to start bronzing up the skin. That's actually really pretty. Okay. I did not expect that. It's like a really beautiful consistency. The way that it's blending in with the skin, it's wow, it's really rich in pigment. Let's focus on the Doritos, the Cheetos, and the cupcakes of the world, because they're all hiding in my chin. Now on the Ulta website, there wasn't a blush with this collection, so I'm actually just gonna take a little bit of this bronzer and I'm lightly gonna pull it up onto the cheek, just a little bit, and I'm gonna, you know, just do that for blush. It's really pretty. Now you guys know I always like to go in with a finishing powder and kind of rub it all over the face. I love the one from Hourglass. I've been really loving the new one that I tried from Pixi in that video. And I wanted to look at this. I don't think that that's what this is, but I just want to make sure before I go in with one of those. This is the Skin Finish Luminescence powder, and these are $8. It comes in 4 different shades. And again, I have Luminescence, which is described as a cool white shimmer with a subtle lilac undertone to it. There are, like I said, 4 shades. All the other ones looked way too deep for me. And it says this is a finishing baked highlighting powder. It is a domed baked highlight and formulated with ultrafine shimmer that infuses the skin with radiance, which does sound kind of similar to the one from Hourglass. So again, I'm not saying that's what this is. I'm just going to take it and kind of swirl it onto the face. So just in using this, I will say I think it's giving me a little bit more radiance than the Hourglass powder does. So if you don't like that radiant look on the skin, you definitely will not enjoy this. But I actually think this looks kind of pretty. Like, I'm not mad at it as of yet. I do think it does a nice job at kind of blending everything out, which is what I use that Hourglass powder for. But it isn't doing as nice of a job pressing everything into the skin like the Hourglass powder does. Oh, you guys, I'm such a dinkus. I did have a concealer. It's a brightening and tightening illuminating concealer. Well, now I'm pissed because I thought that was an eyeliner. I'm mad for multiple reasons. Number 1, I don't have an eyeliner. And number 2, I did have a concealer. So you know what, guys, this is where I'm going to interject. Sorry about that, but I want to hear from you guys. Earlier in the video, I said that I would grab like a concealer and the foundation that are from this line from their website, and I'll do a video. Let me know down below, do you want to see that video or not? It was a little bit presumptuous of me to just assume that you did. So let me know down below, do you guys want to see that video or not? If you want to see it, I can throw that tightening, brightening pen thing in there and let you guys know if it's good or not, and we can talk about it in that video. But let me know if you want to see that down below. Now for brows, I have their Define and Fill Brow Pencil in Warm Brown. That was released in 3 shades and it is $8. And I also have their Volume and Sculpt Brow Gel, and this is $10 and was released in 4 colors. In case I didn't say this, I bought both in Warm Brown. Wow, you guys, this brow pencil, it has some heft to it. I can't properly express to you how hefty this brow pencil is. This feels like a Pat McGrath brow pencil. Like if I pictured what one feels like, it would feel like solid metal, which is what this feels like. That is amazing. Is there a magnet around here somewhere? Guys, this is a magnet right here, and it is a metal brow pencil. It's metal. That is amazing. So let's get a swatch. Okay, yeah, it's definitely, it's a little bit warm for me, but I think we can make it work. It doesn't feel as creamy as I would hope it would. It feels a little bit hard. Maybe you could do like the little ticks with it. I think that'll work really nicely. I don't know, let's give it a try. So she's not super creamy, but it's also not bad. Like, it's really nice in between. But what I like is that when I go to spoolie through the brows, it actually does spread out the color. So you can work with it a little bit, which is nice. All right, so now we're gonna go in with a little bit of this brow gel and get that good and spoolied through the brows. You guys, I'm not gonna lie, I am not having a good brow day today. I don't know what is happening, but it literally took me like 20 minutes and these brows aren't even good. Like, you ever just have an off brow day? Because I'm there. I'm living that life. My only thing with this is that it's a very thin formula, so if you have little to no brow like me, it does kind of make it a little bit difficult to really get this in the brows. It's so thin that it starts to like transfer all over. Like, I ended up with it up here. You end up with it down on the bottom. And it's not so much an issue if after you've used it for a while it gets thick. Kind of like the ABH Dip Brow. This one I've used quite a bit. And at first it was so thin that it would literally just flick all over the place. So if after a while it thickens up after you've used it and you've got some air in the tube and it makes the formula a little thicker, it's not so bad. But right now it's not my favorite just because it does transfer. Now, other than that though, I don't think it's too shabby. Again, not having a good brow day by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't hate the formula of either of those. I think they're pretty nice. So now it's time to dive into eyeshadow, and I have this eyeshadow palette right here, and I'm just gonna show it to you guys and then you can tell me what it is. And then here is the palette. I don't know, guys, does this remind you of anything? Like, I don't know, maybe the Huda New Nude palette? So here they are side by side, Huda over here. This is the Revolution Pro. I definitely think you can see that they are inspired by, if not trying to completely dupe out, this palette. That's part of the reason I picked this palette, is I wanted to see how much of a dupe it really was. So let's go ahead and swatch it. Get ready, girl, get it going. All right, guys, so I went ahead and I swatched both palettes next to each other. This one up here is the Revolution Pro. This one down here is the Huda Beauty palette. Now, I have to say, after swatching them, if I had to say what they did here, I would say Revolution Pro took a lot of the same shades from Huda, and in a lot of cases, they switched them out. For example, like, both of these glitters are in the same exact spot in the palette. They are very, very similar. But then, like, down at the end right here, this second to last shimmer, in both palettes, it's a shimmer, but in the Huda, it's a dark shimmer, and in the one from Revolution Pro, they went in with a light shimmer, and you see little subtle differences like that all the way through the palette. It actually happened up here as well. Revolution Pro traded out what would be a darker shimmer in the Huda palette for a lighter shimmer in their own. And then here is just a shot of it zoomed out, just in case, again, you want to see the full spectrum. Top side is Revolution Pro, bottom side is Huda. Now, as far as going through and swatching these and feeling like the quality, I was pretty shocked because a lot of the ones from Revolution Pro did feel really, really nice. The ones that did feel a little bit more chalky, a little bit more inconsistent when I swatched them, those were more of the deeper toned purple shades, so I'm not surprised. That does happen a lot. Keeping in mind that this is a cruelty and vegan palette, these don't have that carmine in them, so they do have the potential to stain your lid just like any other vegan palette. But overall, I am really impressed with the color story. It is super, super similar. Now, the only thing I didn't swatch yet is the base shades, and I just wanted to do a little swatch and compare the two. So let me grab a little bit of both and put them on my fingers here. Oh yeah, even those are super, super similar in color. The one from Huda, which is this one, is a little bit chunky. It's a little bit sticky feeling. It's nothing that I would use on my lids. Truth be told, I didn't like it then. I don't really like it now. I don't like the idea of putting a base shade like that in a palette. A, you can't cover it up, so all the fallout and glitter and stuff from on your vanity or even from the palette gets into it. I don't love that. I don't love that in the Revolution Pro one either. But I also don't like it because there's really no way to like keep a lid on it and keep the consistency of it intact. For example, let's go ahead and talk about the eye primer we're going to use today. This is their Revolution Pro Eye Elements Eye Primer, and I have this in the shade Core. There are 3 shades listed on the website, and these are $8 a piece. This is it right here on the side. You can definitely see it has more of a warm tone, yellowy kind of base to it. Let's take a little bit of this eye primer here and put this on the lid. Now, I did go in and conceal the lid with a tiny bit of Tarte Shape Tape, but all of that pretty much has creased off of both lids, so I'm just going to go ahead and do this. It's not as opaque as a Tarte Shape Tape or anything, but it does do a nice job for a base. Okay, not mad at that. Let's do the other side, Paige. 2 eyes. 2 eyes, 2 eyes. I'm not wanting to do like a crazy eye, but I would like to play around with all the different textures in here. So I think I want to start off with the shade... Let's start off with the shade Delight right here, which is a light pink, and then go into the shade Zoned, and then the shade Majestic right next to that. And we're going to work all 3 of those colors through the crease, nice and lightly, kind of give ourselves like a diffused blended base from a light shade to a deep shade. All right, guys, so I got those on, and here's my thing. By the way, I applied all of those with the same little Wet n Wild fluffy brush. It doesn't say which one it is, but I just got all those on, and they weren't the easiest to blend. It did take a little bit of work, especially getting in to those darker toned purples. They were a little bit patchy, a little bit chalky, which again, it's not uncommon because this is a more affordable palette, but nonetheless, I was able to get them all to blend. It just took a little bit more work. So right now I'm just gonna blend out the tops of all of those with the shade Neutral and my Sigma E40. It's just the nice light kind of bone colored shade right up here at the top. And I love using these kinds of shades to just blend everything together. It helps remove any of that harshness. Real quick, just on the under eye with this same brush from Wet n Wild, I just want to take a little bit of that dark purple and blend it all the way down there, because right now, y'all, my under eyes are a creasy little mess. That powder, that translucent powder, did me no favors. It looks real bad under there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it up with some eyeshadow. So next up, I just grabbed a little bit of my e.l.f. glitter glue on the back of my hand there, and I'm gonna pat that all over the lid. I'm gonna take it a little bit higher up into the crease right here. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Glitz, which is right here. It's the lightest shimmer. And I am going to place that one on the inner portion of the eye. This is going to be in an odd order here for a second, but I'm laying down a glitter, and I want the glitter to have a little bit of shimmer on the bottom side of it. And next to that over here, I'm going to grab a little bit of Jazz It Up, and I'm going to lay down just a touch of that because I really love both of those shades. Oh wow, and see, they applied really nicely too. Like, the shine is pretty. Okay, this is a really nice look. Now I'm just going to tap a tiny, tiny bit more glitter glue right over top of where I put the shade Jazz It Up. Just a little bit. And I'm going to go in with the shade Golden, which is this glitter right here. Just a little bit on my finger. And I'm just going to lightly pat that in that area. Now I'm basically just tapping this in, and I'm lightly fading it in toward this inner area, but I don't want a ton to be stuck right there. I wanted to give it like a nice faded glitter moment. It's actually really pretty. Now I am getting a fair amount of fallout underneath, both from the glitter and from the shimmer shades, so something to keep in mind, you will have some fallout. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and remove all of the swatches on my arm because I'm pretty sure I'm wearing them all down the side of myself. I don't know how I always end up wearing swatches, but like I put them on and I'm like, oh, they're so pretty. And then before I know it, they're real pretty when they're smeared all over my clothes. But while I remove these, let's go ahead and chat for a second about this palette, because here's my thing. I don't think that it's bad necessarily, but I can definitely see a huge quality difference. Huda palette, which I have used several times, like I said before, I really loved that palette when it was released. The quality of those shades is just really beautiful. I loved playing around with them so much. And when it came to the Makeup Revolution palette, what I didn't love is that the effortlessness of the Huda palette was gone. It was like everything took that much longer to blend. It was just more work. And even applying them to the eye, the shades, especially like the deeper matte purple shades on the outer V, the one I put here and here, they were both more chalky looking than a rich tone. And with the Huda palette, when you were going in and using those colors, they were so rich and beautiful. Now this for me is one of those ways that brands, especially ones like Makeup Revolution or Revolution Pro in this case, especially when they're trying to copy another product, this is where it shoots them in the foot, because they very, very clearly tried to come out with a dupe or a similar or almost the exact same palette as Huda Beauty. And I mean, they even named it the new neutral palette. Huda Beauty's is named the new nude palette. I mean, it's just very clear what they were going for here. And the problem with that is that if they would have come out with a palette that was clearly their own vision, and they wouldn't have tried to dupe it so hard, I wouldn't have been as harsh in comparing the two. But to me, if you're going to try and dupe or take someone else's idea, someone else's layout, someone else's time and energy that she put into creating that palette, if you are going to very clearly just take that idea, I'm going to be a lot more harsh on you, because I feel like you didn't put in that same energy, that time, that resource that someone else did. Now for 20 bucks, do I think it's bad? No, I think it's okay. I don't know. For me, it's one of those where it's like, they tried and they shot and they got, I would say they nailed it by about 70%. But like that 30% that's missing is the quality, it's the pigmentation, it's the blendability, it's like just the overall Huda luxury vibe. Even the way that the Huda shades feel on your hand, that's what's missing. They're missing that luxurious silky quality to them. So for 20 bucks, it's definitely a $20 palette, and you can tell. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Oh, and by the way, the eye base, I don't know that this is my favorite either. I feel like I'm being really mean, but this is just a really, really thin, like oily feeling kind of consistency. And if you're used to using the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, you'll know that one has kind of a thicker, more robust consistency to it. It has a little bit of ass behind it, and this one doesn't. It's very, very thin, and like I said, kind of oily, slippery feeling. And I can tell you right now on my lids, this will not stand the test of time. This is maybe gonna last a couple, maybe 4 or 5 hours before it starts to crease, if that. So something to note, if you have oily lids, this is a much more oily slip consistency, and I don't think it's gonna last very well. Obviously, I will keep you guys updated down below if it does or not, but like I don't see it lasting very long. Okay, so now it's gonna be time for a highlight. I'm gonna go ahead and set my face here. This is the Catrice HD Active Performance. This is the new spray I just used. I will link it up here in the new Catrice video. Now I'm going to go in with the highlight that is out of this palette here, the sculpting palette that I used to bronze up the face. I'm going to take this on a Wayne Goss 24S brush. Ooh, she looks real pink. Ooh. You guys, not too shabby at all. You know what's really interesting is that as I just packed that into my inner eye right there, I don't think you can see it on camera, but when you pack it together like that, it goes peach. Like on my cheek, it looks really nice and lightly pale pink, but when you put it together and like try to pack it in, it looks peach, like peach color corrector peach. Like, what is happening? You know what's really confusing to me too is that out of all 3 palettes, this is the lightest one that was like this. And how is it possible that out of the 3, for the highlight side, which if you want to make it a pink highlight or a peachy pink highlight, that's fine. But why is the base so dark? Why is the base dark enough that when you build it up, it turns peachy pink? If anything, it should be a light, like pearlescent pink if you're gonna go pink. Because on a light skin tone, you have to have the lightest base possible. I just don't, that is so confusing to me. That is so perplexing. I'm confused. A little more Catrice spray. Now I'm going to play with the NYX Bear With Me Prime Satin Refresh Spray. I also talked about this in a NYX video, which I will link up here. And okay, beautiful people, this is the finished look. I did go ahead and throw on lips. Now these are the 2 that I picked up. These are their new Neutrals Satin Matte Lipsticks. There are 6 colors. Like I said, I grabbed 2 of them. I really love this packaging, how it has that cute little leopard print moment to it. I think that's a really cute detail. But the 2 shades I have, like I said, are right here. The lighter one, this is Cashmere, and then this shade over here, that's the one I am wearing on my lips, and this is the shade Velvet. Now those lipsticks retail for $9 a piece, and here's my overall thoughts and opinions. First of all, I love the way that the look came together. I think it works, it's cohesive. I don't have any issue with it on like a topical perspective. My only issue with this look and the collection and these pieces are that I feel a little bit let down. Like if I'm being honest, I kind of expected a little bit better when it comes to quality out of this collection, mainly because I took this as Makeup Revolution wanting to have more of like a pro line, something that would be a little bit better in quality. Here's my main issue that I keep running into. I feel like, for example, the primers are 15 bucks a piece. At this moment, I'm not noticing any difference, and I've been wearing all of this makeup for actually a little longer than it would seem on camera. I had to go out, deal with the dogs, groceries, all that stuff, and there's no difference at all. And when you are using a blurring primer, most of the time you'd see a difference. I saw a difference for like a second a while ago, and now both sides look exactly the same. The glowy and the matte, it all looks exactly the same all over my face. And I just keep asking myself, are these products necessary? Are they something that are like actually needed in what you do? And for the most part, I'm just gonna like be honest, I'm not overly wowed by them. Again, favorites would probably be the lipsticks. These are really nice. I did like the skin finish. This was good. And I like the bronzer out of this side right here. But I want to hear from you guys down below. What do you think? I tried to present everything in this video, as always, as unbiased and as fair as possible, but sometimes things just don't work, and that's okay. I still like hearing from you guys. What do you think? What are your thoughts and opinions? Are you looking at this line? Were you wanting to check it out? And most importantly, do you want me to check out the foundation and concealers? Leave me all of that information down below. Now, while you're down there, don't forget, check me out on Instagram and on Twitter, and also don't forget to subscribe and turn on your post notifications for this here YouTube channel. I do upload 5 videos a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan. And you guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. You're no good, lie teller, 'cause you're a liar and you're a cheater. it's not as opaque as like a shirt, as a shirt. All right, guys, so, guys. Okay, so to start off, we're gonna dive in with primer. We're gonna start off with primer.